and welcome to Te Vaka Takitumu Te Maeva Nui Journey 2021.
Kia ora tātou katoa toa, te rota tātou atu ko Yesu Mesia. My name is Vivian Hosking-Auē, 28 years old. This year, 2021, I'm the Vaka Takitumu culture leader, which is a massive role. Te Maeva Nui in New Zealand is a mirrored version of the Te Maeva Nui back home. So they decided to create a Te Maeva Nui New Zealand here in Auckland, New Zealand, to give us Cook Islanders who stay here in Auckland the opportunity to embrace and showcase who we are and our identity. Yes, it's a competition. Yes, it's a round where everyone goes to war and fights against each other in the performing arts, but it's a way for us to show how proud we are as Cook Island people. So my vision was to win. Yeah, that's my vision. That was the first thing. Because as I said, every practice, what's the point of going in competition if you're not going to win? Like, don't go in there to participate. My second vision was again to make sure that every person that was in the group, all 109 of us, grew and developed in whatever area, whether that's your dancer, your singer, your drummer, your costume maker. Yeah, I just put it out to everybody, and then from then, I thought no one was gonna come. We got 200 people registered, which was over the moon for us leaders. From the beginning of our Te Maeva Nui adventure, for me it was a smooth adventure. Of course you have hiccups, because you're working with a large group of people. We traveled into rehearsals. So our leaders, is me, Kiana Maruao, Kat Kamera, and then you have Purutu, you have my mom, Ngamitua, and you have Shana. So I got the team together before that to actually talk about what's happening. We did a few compositions beforehand, before the meeting, just so that everyone who came knew that we were serious, and we were serious about this. People bled, I saw it on the ground. People were crying, I heard it, I saw it. Myself, I was crying myself too. People sweat galore. Yeah, the floors were so slippery. Wherever we practiced, they were so slippery.
I don't have that much experience in performing and dancing, but as a kid I grew up dancing for family gatherings and stuff.
So I danced in the Ura Pa'u festival in 2013-14, and then that was probably the most that I danced. I had a massive break.
I've been dancing from, it's like asking you, when did you say your first words? And for me, I've known dancing like the back of my palms.
This was my first competition after about 8 years. So the last time I danced was 2014.
It's my first time actually performing. Not usually a Cook Island dancer, more of a Samoan dancer. But it's always good to learn new things.
So I've had about 8 years experience dancing Cook Island dance. I started in my childhood, but I'm coming back this year new from about a decade break in the culture.
When you're going off, girls, remember there's some people over there, and there's a space there. You need to go out. Don't wait over there. So you should be going 5, 6, 7, go.
Kia ora everyone, my name is Kiana. My role in Takitumu was to lead our girls, choreograph our girls, and help Vivian lead our group this year. So I went and workshopped with Vivian, and he kind of challenged me to just step out of the box a bit more, only because we're going into competition, we're going to war.
I was just a member, started off as a member, and then I thought I could use what I've learned over in my studies, which is singing, to implement that within our own culture and give it a little twist to it. So in doing so, I asked and volunteered to help compose our Imene Tuki, our traditional hymn. And it's been such a privilege and a journey alongside Auntie Margaret Keitara. So we did that collaboration together, and it's been an amazing journey doing that.
Practices have been really challenging, especially trying to juggle it with work and school.
The practices were hard. They were so hard. They were straining on like all types of levels, physically, mentally, emotionally.
Yeah, our practices started to come like every day, and they were getting late at night, and then we'd go to school in the morning and I'd be like tired and couldn't really like focus at school. But yeah, it just taught me to keep going, to keep hustling, so yeah, that's good.
As a dancer, it's been really hard, especially for me, not being Cook Island. It's been hard to adjust to it, coming from, you know, like Kapa Rima, Niuean dancers. But it's been really good. I've enjoyed it so far.
Probably the hardest thing is just taking in all the knowledge. Oh yeah, dancing is pretty like kind of easy for me. Yeah, it would be. I'll say.
Performing comes as a natural to me sometimes, but this is like a whole another level. Whereas I perform for entertainment. Whereas this is like a comp. Like you have to be on top of your game. Like
honestly, it's been really hard, especially with like school and everything. But then I love it. I love the culture and just like the vibes I get when I come. It's just so fun.
Over the past months, I've talked to people who I thought I wouldn't have talked to at the start of practices, and I'm really glad to see that everyone's becoming one big family. So the highlight for me with this Te Maeva Nui experience is definitely the people I've met, the bonds that I've made.
The vibe, the family vibes, and everybody together is just this massive bond that we have gathered since we started our Te Maeva Nui.
But I'm happy to be here, mostly in the group, especially with the boys. We went from strangers to family.
As you can see, everyone's just preparing all the costume. Costume process, as like every other costume process you have, it's difficult, very difficult. You have the financial side. We have to fundraise all this money.
So you have a lot of logistics. We started with battens up. Most groups do socials, so we jumped on that wagon as well. We did a couple bonuses, and in that, I think the hardest thing is fundraising so much in a small amount of time. So, you know, we'd start with the battens up, and then 4 days later, we moved to social. And then a couple of days after that, you know, you're jumping in, obtaining all the costume materials. So it was, you never stopped, and that was a big challenge.
Costuming is a massive role in performance. For me, compositions and costuming needs to marry. If it don't marry, don't put it on stage. It won't work. You had to source, you had to go out to the shops and look for the materials. We had to go look for pearls, real other strips, other woven strips, raffia. We had to source the feathers from Indonesia. You had to get the rito sponsored, because the rito is, it's $100 a bundle, and the amount of rito we got, it just cost $1,000 all up together. People is a big thing. So the costume makers, honestly, we did have people who said, I can do costume. But then when it came to the time, there wasn't, it was showing. So yeah, we just needed people to actually know what they're doing and come into the room and do it. Yeah, it takes time and it takes years as well for you to understand the materials and how to use it in the right ways. But we do have members in our team that know how to work with the different materials.
So, in order to get one of these, so this is called a Hawaiian plait titi. In order to get from one of these, you'll need kiriau, which are then separated into little fine groups like this to be plaited in one of these. Plait together, eventually this whole thing turns into one of these. Let's go.
So we're just making from the kirio, stretching it, making it straight. Not me. And then we're tying it in a bundle. These ones, they're gonna be straight and woven into a band that'll sit on top of it. So what Helen was doing with the maroon one, we're gonna do with the dark blue, and it's gonna sit on top like that. So when you shake it, they have like a contra.
Hello everyone, so my department for Te Maeva Nui this year is making e-katus for Imene Tuki and Ute. So what is needed for the Imene Tuki and Ute is bunches of leaves. You can do any colour, a headband, also string with tape. And what you do is break those bunches apart into 2 bunches or 5 bunches, depends how you want to make your headpiece. Put that in here and just wrap it around. And that's how you make a hei katu.
So we use the dye to colour our skirts. So we have 4 different colours. Yeah, but I'll take you outside because it's hot and it's ready to be put in the, well, that's about hot. So this one I'm reactivating it because we've already mixed it. So we pour it in here. So when we get the skirts, when we get the material, it comes like really like natural and ugly. And then so we bleach it with this stuff here. Hats and bras are not finished, so please, if I hear anyone complain about it, I'm going to get very mad.
How do you see yourself as a tutor and a leader?
You have six more days until competition day, and you're acting like this. You're doing your choreography like this. Okay, 1, I think I'm hard. I don't think I'm hard, like, to be honest. I've worked with harder choreographers and tutors, being a dancer and that. But I'm hard. I'm only hard because I care.
Vivian is 100% hard. I've always said it to him, he's like the definition of consistency. He's just someone who pushes everyone to the point where they grow and develop.
He's a great choreographer and he leads the people well. I think I think there was a lot of harsh realities he was going through at the time. So, you know, he works as well and he's looking after all these people just like we all are. And he's trying to be creative in the process as well. And with that, the pressure just adds, so you become really mean and almost negative. So I think great choreographer, creatively driven, just unkind at times because of the pressures of what is around and looking after so much.
You know, overall, Vivian is a good, he is a good leader, but obviously, there are a few parts where he can, improve on in terms of learning how to communicate to people, in terms of, knowing when to be a leader and when not to be a leader.
I like that he had vision before we started. Like he already had everything composed, and well, not everything composed, but he already had vision. Yeah, he already had.
He knew what he wanted,
set,
and this set. Yeah, and he knew.
For his first time, it wasn't too bad. Like it's our first time, but for his first time, I felt like it was pretty good.
Strict, yeah, but it was the structure that I liked. There was no fluffing about or.
He motivates you in the best way. He's hard on you because he loves you. He sees so much potential in everyone and just does his best to push us even when we're tired and everything.
Vivian is very professional. The way that he carries himself and the way his expectation that he has on himself just to execute the best of the best that we could possibly do, and not settling for anything less than.
So I think that there's something so empowering about being fully immersed in the Cook Islands culture. And when you have the opportunity to be a part of Te Maeva Nui at its full force, you feel a real sense of belonging and connection to te reo Māori o Kukiarani, te peo tupuna, te pukaria, e te tangata.
When I first started with the group, it was a bit rocky at first. Everyone was in their little pods, like they knew each other before Te Maeva Nui. So everyone was quite distant. A few weeks later, when I got chosen as boys leader, I knew straight away that I needed to do a team bonding session. So I wanted us to do a boys bonding session, the girls bonding session, and the group one. Yeah, no, the journey for our bonding with our team was very, very strong.
Oh yeah, our very successful Amazing Race.
Yes.
Even till now, they're still, you know, talking to each other. They have like little cliques and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we're still as one family.
Of course, you know, again, big group, ups, downs, talking here, talking there. But the thing I enjoyed is that if I heard anyone, you know, talking about things in a negative way and not a more constructive way, then I would address it. Usually with things like that, I would just shrug it away and chuck it out. But this time round, I wanted to be transparent and I wanted to make sure that everyone was taken care of, whether they were talking about us, they were talking about something that didn't need to be talked about at all. It was irrelevant.
My favourite performance is probably the Ute. Even though I wasn't in it, I just think it's the meanest one. It has the best vibes in it. And you know, you get the opportunity to just get up and just do whatever you want and be yourself and show like your true passion for your culture.
When you actually get there on the day, everyone's just on adrenaline and everyone's excited, happy, you don't know what to expect, and pretty much everyone goes crazy. But you can just feel it and you feed off of it.
My favourite performance is easily the Kapa Rima. Yeah, Kapa Rima is like the icing on top of the cake for me.
Because it's all about the feels, and it should be enough for you you should be able to feel your song and your Kapa Rima and your dance, so someone else, whoever's watching, whoever's listening, should be able to have the same impact that you have.
My favourite performance would have had to have been the Imene Tuki. Only because not a very religious person, but I felt spiritually connected to it. The message behind it, I don't know, the tune, the whole composition was
So my favourite performance out of everything definitely has to be the Imene Tuki. You know, it was just one of those performances where you learned right at the end, and it was just one of the ones that you really wanted to be in. And you know, it literally took me like 2 days to learn all the words. And, you know, I had to make sure that I had it unlocked. So you know, when you learn something, you know, you want to learn it wholeheartedly, and that was one of the things that I carry with me when learning the Imene Tuki.
The Kapa Rima is it's self-explanatory. You're performing the song with your hands. So Kapa Rima together. The action song can be slow, it can be fast, it can have a variety. Back then they used to do an action song on just lines. How it is now, where you see all the different action song formations, transitions here. Today it's really intricate, but we still fuse together our traditional aspects, traditional sounds and tunes, and choreography as well. If you can look at the costume is more intricate than the drum dance costume, because you want to see the sway of the hips for the girls, and you want to see the beauty of the body too.
The Kapa Rima is all about storytelling and all about the gracefulness of how you carry yourself during performances. For the boys, even though it's a Kapa Rima, but it comes back down to the storytelling, as is all our other performances. But with the Kapa Rima in particular, that's when the gracefulness is shown. The Kapa Rima is probably one of my most, you love all of them, but would be my personal, one of my most treasured ones, because it's all about the feels. When you're dancing and you're expressing your story, it should be enough for a blind person to hear the story and understand the story, as well for a deaf person to see the story through your image.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Te Vaka Takitumu NZ Kapa Rima.
A pe'e is a chant. With a pe'e, you have a storyline, or you're usually influenced by a myth or a legend. Whatever island you're from, whatever inua, whatever village, whatever oire you're from, you have a particular myth or legend that you pe'e about, that you chant about. In similarities to other cultures, a pe'e can be similar to a haka, where again the Māori haka, they're talking about heritage, they're talking about their roots, they're talking about a legend. So a pe'e is pretty much you're foretelling a story through the old way of Cook Islands Māori language. Where today we have the new Cook Islands Māori language, but in a pe'e you will definitely hear the more traditional and the more ancient Cook Islands Māori language.
Pe'e is our showcase of the Cook Island culture pre-Christianity. So it touches on some of our stories that we don't often hear. It's quite a theatrical reenactment of our forefathers and the story of Tamatea and how he voyaged to Aotearoa.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Te Vaka Takitumu NZ.
So the ute is a very rare and it's a very sacred performance in the Cook Islands. The ute is a traditional song or traditional poem sung in a really unique way. So no one else in the Pacific sings a ute. There is kind of similar songs to the Tahitians. They do have a kind of similar performance to a ute. But for us Cook Islanders, it's really rare and unique. Every ute has an opening section. So when you compose a ute, you always have an opening section, and then you feed into your creative. Nowadays, it's creative, but the actual traditional ute is just so it's just that the whole entire way. There's no creativity. But today's utes, there's creativity and there's up and down kind of tunes happening, and and everyone's just having fun. It's all about having fun for the ute.
But overall, the ute is a celebration piece, and basically, I believe that the ute is like one of the most exciting and fun pieces to be a part of. It's pretty much where everyone comes together and just celebrates as one. And with the ute, something I like about it is that I genuinely believe that it's like the essence of the Cook Island culture. It showcases the language and the people through its joy and happiness.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Vaka Takitumu with their ute. Kapa
Imene Tuki is a hymn, it's a church hymn. When you go to a Cook Islands Christian church, you will hear Imene Tuki sung. And again, it's rare, it's unique, it's an intricate way of singing and portraying our voices in the Cook Islands. In the Imene Tuki, we follow a verse from the Bible. So there are verses split off in the whole year, and every day of the year there are verses. And usually with the Imene Tuki, you pick a verse, there is a verse, and you derive and you create your Imene Tuki from that verse. With the Imene Tuki, you will hear a very rare voice, two very rare voices. It's a pere pere vaine and a pere pere tane as well. So those are, it's not screaming, it's a different octave of voice. It's not a harmony too, because the harmony is different. So it's a different octave of the human voice.
So our Imene Tuki was composed by Ridge, Ponini, Auntie Margaret and Auntie Say. So with the Imene Tuki being about obedience, talking about the story of Jonah and the whale, so hearing the authentic sound of Cook Island Imene, and then with the modernization of today's, like the young people, when Reg said that he wrote the Imene Tuki for the Mapu, it just made me want to be in there even more.
Te Vaka Takitumu with their Imene Tuki.
drum dance translated into Ura Pa'u. So the Ura Pa'u is the drum dance. So all the drums you see, there are 3 different families of drums. There are the wooden drums, there are the skin drums, and there are the other drums. So that's like the tini and other things you can use in a drum dance. So a drum dance is made of all those drums put together. So a drum dance, you portray the idea or the storyline through the drums. So whatever idea, for example, our idea was about the coronavirus and it coming from the bats and the COVID being, happening in the world today. Whatever theme or idea you have, you portray it through the drums. So yeah, Ura Pa'u. So that's 2, dance, drum. Back in our ancestral days or back in our olden days, you would again have a drum dance in lines. So they would just solely stay in lines, do the actions forward. They would turn around, as my mum would say, they would turn, but it wasn't as creative and illusionist, and it wasn't as today how it is right now. It's really like, wow, what did I just watch? Yeah, so that's the drum dance.
The drum dance is very intense. There's a lot going on in it. There's like a lot of movements, costume changes, different formations, different drum beats, and different times when we come on, go off stage and everything. 3 words, probably intense, hard, and endurance. It's really hard. You need to be really fit and stuff.
Te Vaka Takitumu NZ. Ura Pa'u.